Go ahead, everybody.
Talk about just the importance of these games here, particularly these teams that are right in front of you in the standings.
Well, we haven't had a game that isn't important since November. So, nothing's really changed. A lot of attention on this because it's 2 back-to-back games, and so it's kind of like a playoff series. Hey, we're scratching and clawing. So that's how we're going to play this game. I'm sure they're going to feel the same way about it. And so, that's where we're at.
How do you guard against getting into one of those windshield wiper games like the last time you guys came?
Well, we like playing fast. In case you haven't noticed that. Yeah. But we got to do it. We got to do it with, by doing it by being efficient. And a team that can really score like these guys can, you can't walk it up against them. You've got to attack them back. I mean, that's how it was with the great fast-paced Phoenix teams, in the early 2000s with D'Antoni and Nash and Marion and those guys. I mean, if you tried to tempo the game and slow it down, you had no chance because they go on a 10-2 scoring run, and then there'd be a 6-1 scoring run. You're down 15 points. So we got to play our game, and we're going to have to get some stops and get some rebounds.
What can you tell us about this Donatus guy, big power forward of theirs or forward?
Well, he's a good player. I saw him play a D-League game earlier in the year when I was watching Jared play in Frisco, and he's got great skill. He's got nice size. He has an energy to him. He hits threes. He can put the ball on the floor and make plays. I was very impressed when I saw him playing for their D-League team, and the two games he's starting, he's averaging 15 points. So, they've done some interesting things with their team, with the trade, and now instead of Patterson, they got Moniunas, who's a different, style of player, but similar in that he's skilled, he can shoot the three, and he can make plays with the ball.
Does that change anything in terms of how you want to approach this defensively because he is kind of a different skill set player relative to what they had Patterson and Morris?
Well, you got to understand individual tendencies on guys, and he's going to be different than Patterson was. But, with these guys, they're going to be throwing up a lot of threes, and it all starts with getting back and trying to keep them in front of you. And if you can do that, it alleviates some of the other problems. But, keeping Harden out of the paint, keeping Lynn out of the paint, Parsons is an underrated driver. And their big guys are very good at rolling, catching on the move, and then pitching it out to three-point shooters. So, they present a lot of challenges. But the thing is, we've got to play hard. We've got to play an aggressive, attacking game. But we got to play within ourselves. If we try to do things that we're not great at doing, we're going to get ourselves in trouble.
Rick, what's the thought process for going back to Kamen as a starter and putting Sarge on the bench?
Well, we had a couple games where we had bigger guys that we were playing against. And I just felt it was time to get him back in there. He played well against Memphis. He did a nice job the other night. And, having a 7-footer back, healthy, who's skilled, and frankly, what he's shown the last couple of games is that he's done some really good things defensively against some of those bigger guys. Now, these guys, will play smaller once Ashik goes out of the game. But, Chris is a good player. We need him.
Rick, Roddy hasn't played much in a while. Where is he in terms of his progress?
Well, he's working hard. The backup point position has been, it's been a little baffling all year long, to be honest. I mean, I wish I could give you a great explanation for the how, the when, the where, and the why. But we got 3 guys behind Carlson that have continued to work. I believe that they're ready. I activated Dojo the last game. I was going to activate him anyway if Morrow hadn't gotten hurt. Morrow's going to be out again tonight, so all 4 of those guys will be active. And in a game like this, where you got a lot of small guys out there, we may need all those guys.
Mike James and Keith Bassett down the stretch against New Orleans and also that night against Brooklyn. What do you like about his progress?
Look, Mike's experienced. He knows how to play. When the shot making is there, he's still, I mean, a damn good player in this league. And, yeah, we like his experience. I like his presence on the court. And so, he's been the guy since the All-Star break.
What's wrong with Morrow?
Morrow's got a hip thing that I don't know exactly what it is, but he's got a problem, a muscular problem with his hip that they're working on. And so I know he did some court work tonight. He's doing a little better today, but a couple days ago in shoot-arounds when it kind of flared up in Brooklyn.
Was that one of his injuries in Atlanta this year? You know?
Not to my knowledge. No. This is something that just came on, I guess, when he was sleeping.
I tend to get hurt a lot in my sleep.
Yeah. Good?
Thanks.
Okay.